Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. And today I'm going to be doing my 2024 presidential election against former President Donald Trump versus Joe Biden, who is the incumbent president right now. And before we get started with the video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, follow all socials in the links in the description down below, and join our Discord server to talk to our community. And without further ado, let's get into the video. And so, as of right now, guys, just a general brief of the election. Donald Trump is currently up in the RCP average by 2 percentage points, leading Biden by 47% to 45%. He had recently dropped in the average quite a bit from a massive 4-point lead all the way down to like a 1-point lead, and even got all the way down to 1.1, but has built back up to a 2-point lead in the national popular vote, while both candidates have essentially gone up in their vote share. Now, do I think Biden's going to get 45%? Probably not. I think Biden's ceiling, or at least Biden's floor, is going to be 48, 47%. I would be generally surprised if Biden got 47%. That would be pretty shocking. Most recent poll has, Trump up basically. Well, it's a tie. Trump is up by 1 in this poll, but then Harvard Harris has him up by 6 with no undecideds. The Economist has him up by 1. Harris X has him up by 4 with no undecideds. The Morning Consult has him up by 4. The Quinnipiac poll has Biden up by 4 points, actually, which I think is a dip from before. He was up by 6 points in the poll from the end of January, and now in the middle of February, he's only up by 4 points. So that's kind of interesting. So he's down from that. And so if you look at these swing states, Trump is practically up in all the swing states except for Pennsylvania, and it's basically a statistical tie. And if you look at 2016, at this point in time, Hillary was up by 3 points in the national popular vote, and Biden was up by 5.4 points in the national popular vote. And the national popular vote in 2020 was off by 2.7 percentage points against in Biden's favor. So the final average was plus 2.7, and Donald Trump actually lost the popular vote by 4.5. So if we were to come over here to the electoral map and do a map based off of Trump's 2-point lead, so theoretically, if you were to apply a polling error, it would be R plus 5 for Trump, which is a very big lead in the national popular vote. And so with that information, we're going to fill out an electoral college map. So these are going to be the safe states for the election. All these states, Donald Trump has won them in 2016 and 2020 for the most part. Alaska is going to probably fall under a 15-point margin. It'll probably be a 13-point win. It is going to trend to the left. In my opinion, it probably will trend to the left. As of right now, I think for the safe Democratic states, I think Biden's going to win California by over 15, wins Hawaii by over 15 points, wins Maryland. He gets the state of DC, which is all the way at the bottom here. There it is. State of Delaware. Then actually not even the state of Delaware. And the state of Massachusetts and Vermont. Those are all of Biden's safe electoral votes, pretty much. Now, the reason why I am filling in safe red, Nebraska, and I'm gonna go touch on Maine in a second, is because of the fact that I have both Trump and Biden winning Nebraska and Maine. And so because of the fact that I have them both winning and each of them get one electoral vote out of the state, the votes basically cancel out. So me filling it out like this is not going to make a difference in the end electoral college map. And so for the likely Republican states, which there are going to be many, Iowa and Ohio are going to be likely Republican states. If you look at the 2020 results, Donald Trump effectively won the state of Iowa by 8 points. He did pretty decent in some of the rural areas. He got Cedar Rapids close. He was able to get Des Moines in a close area. Davenport, Scott County, he had it within 3 points, which I expect him to win this county in the next election. He'll probably improve in Woodborough County as well. In Ohio, he was able to run it up in some of the rural working class areas. Montgomery County is a county I expect him to flip. I also expect him to get close in Hamilton. Lucas will get close. I think he might have a chance at winning Summit County and the county that has Cleveland in it. I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be able to win that. But he will be able to flip a couple of these in the next election. He will definitely improve in the northern east area of Ohio. Probably make a lot of these counties basically solid red, especially these two counties up here. They're definitely going to be solid red by the time the election is over. And so I think Trump wins these states by 13 or 12 and 13 and 14 respectively. Ohio by like 12, this by 14 probably. It's close to being safe, but I don't think it's exactly there yet. The next two likely states I'm going to fill out are Texas and Florida. These states have gone, for Donald Trump twice, and Donald Trump made massive gains in southern Texas because of his border policies and just in general the Hispanic shift with Republican voters being very massive during that election, which I do think they are going to continue. And I think he's going to win Williamson County. I think he'll win Tarrant County. I think he'll get Dallas a lot closer. I think he's going to get Harris really close. I think he'll possibly even win Fort Benworth. And I think he'll probably get Hayes County pretty close. I think he'll also win Culberson County back. And so, based out of that, I do think he's going to win the state by, 10 to 11 points. And in Florida, I think he's going to win in a landslide. I think that in Miami-Dade, he probably wins it by more than 5. He probably wins it by 7. So, the opposite of this, he probably wins it by 6 or 7. He's going to get close in Palm Beach. He could possibly even win it. And Broward County may be closer than expected. I think he'll win Pinellas by a few points. He's going to win, possibly almost win Osceola County, and Orange County will be much closer than last time. He'll probably flip back Duval. These counties will be a lot closer. Leon County is probably going to be within 10 points. And so, because of that, I think Donald Trump could actually end up winning the state by 13 percentage points in a R plus 5 national environment. Now, the next likely state is going to be North Carolina. He's probably going to win the state by 9 or 10 points. As of right now, if you look at these, a lot of counties that could do a lot of growing, and the Republican Party here, for the most part, is a pretty competent GOP. And so I do think that he is going to make big like inroads in the state. I think he'll more than likely flip this county. He'll probably flip this one as well. Probably flip Nash County 100%. He'll flip Pitt County. Wilson County will be an easy flip. This county will also be a super easy flip. He'll probably win Washington County as well. He'll win Anson County. Hoke County will get close. Cumberland County will probably narrow up. Maybe Biden still holds on to it, but overall, I think he is going to win that area by a pretty decent amount, or at least he'll get it really, really close. And so I think North Carolina is poised for a almost 9-10 point victory for Trump. And if you look at the state on the RCP average, Trump is up by 5 points right now. And usually the polling averages here tend to really underestimate Trump by a couple of points. So I'd expect maybe, okay, Trump maybe wins it by 8, 7, 9, somewhere around that area. 7 to 9 points would be a good estimation for me right now. The next likely state on the map for Donald Trump is actually going to be the state of Georgia. The state of Georgia voted for Biden in 2020 by literally 11,000, 12,000 votes because of African American turnout in the Atlanta area. However, I think this time the African American vote's going to shift towards Donald Trump, and turnout with African Americans is going to be a lot lower because a lot of those voters that are pretty much very disenfranchised with Biden are either going to stay home or they're going to vote third party. I mean, Biden will still win the African American vote nationwide, but I think Donald Trump might actually be able to almost win the African American vote alone in the state of Georgia. He might actually be able to almost win it. And I think that's going to let him win the state by possibly 5 to 7 points. He's probably going to win the state pretty big. And if you look at the polling average here, Donald Trump is up in the state by 6.5 percentage points. And usually the polls underestimate Trump by 2 points in the state, give or take. So, okay, maybe he wins it by 4.5. However, I think that there are a lot of African American voters that are not being counted in to the polling. And so I think because of that, he's going to win it by over 5 and possibly by 5 to 7 points, depending on how good of a night he has. The next likely state, well, actually, I think as of right now, that's pretty much it for the likely states for Donald Trump. If we go to the states of Washington and Oregon, I think Biden will probably win these states by, possibly 10 to 13 points. Oregon may be closer. I think Marion County will probably flip. I think that these counties will get a lot redder for Trump. He'll do a lot better in the western side of the country and basically max out all of the counties here on the east side of the state. I think that he's going to improve in Lincoln County, probably do a lot better in this county. He'll probably flip this one as well. Where Portland is, this will probably get a lot closer, in my opinion. A couple of African American voters may shift in his favor there, as well as some Hispanics that reside there and some white working class voters in the state. Maybe Biden wins it by 7 to 10 points, and Washington's like a 10 to 13 point win, more than likely. That's what I'm thinking is the estimate right now. Now, Colorado, despite it being, a D plus, an R+5 national environment, I think it's going to vote for Trump Biden by possibly 8 points. I think the state's going to be super left trending, but even though Trump wins it by 5, Biden will still win it by about 8 points. However, the state is going to shift from 2020 just because of how strong Trump is seemingly going to perform overall. All the polls have Biden up in Colorado anywhere from like 6 to 9 points. So I'd say that Biden wins it probably by 8 percentage points. If we go to the state of Illinois, I think is going to fall under a 15-point win. And not only that, I actually think it's going to fall under 10. I think Trump is going to probably lose the state by possibly 6 to 8 points. I think he's going to basically max out all of his performance in the southern parts of the state, probably make these slightly darker red. And in the Chicago area, he'll flip DeKalb County. He'll flip possibly even Kane County. He'll flip Kendall County for sure. He'll probably flip Will County. DuPage County, I'm not sure. And Cook County, obviously, he probably won't flip it. But I actually expect Donald Trump to hit almost 1 million votes in Chicago, in this area. I think he'll possibly hit about 1 million votes here. So I think the state is going to be much closer and could get closer depending on the third party vote share, but we're going to see what happens over time. Now, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Jersey, Delaware, these states are going to fall under the 15-point win. However, there's still going to be pretty solid victories for Biden for the most part. And now Donald Trump is sitting at 251 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 262 electoral college votes. And so Trump is a massive favorite to win. And the first lean state that I am going to fill out on the map for Donald Trump is going to be, well, actually, before we do that, we'll do the lean Biden states. I think that Biden is going to win Virginia by probably 3 to 4 points. Donald Trump had a seemingly better than expected performance in Loudoun County last time. He was expected to lose it by more, and he still didn't even lose it by that much. I think he'll flip Virginia Beach. I think he'll flip Chesapeake County. I think in Suffolk, I think maybe he gets it closer. These counties over here, these closer ones, may either get really close or I think he's gonna just straight up win them. Montgomery County will probably flip. He'll probably flip Stafford County for sure as well. Definitely flip that. He may even flip Northampton County in the state over here too. And as well, you have Hung Cal possibly running for the Senate seat. And I think that is going to help Trump's chances in the state a bit. So I think, okay, maybe Biden only wins it by 3 to 5 points. And I'd say it's under 5 right now. It could go back up to 5 depending on polls. But a lot of the polls here have either had Trump basically at a tie with Biden or Biden's winning the state by like 1 to 3 points in all polling. And so that's where I sit in the state of Georgia, or excuse me, in the state of Virginia. Now, in the state of Maine, I think Biden still wins it by probably like a point. I think it will be competitive. However, I think that Biden will probably still hold on to it by like a point and a half. I think in the state of Minnesota, I think Biden, had a very inflated margin because of the Minneapolis area, for the BLM riots. However, I do think the state is still going to trend to the left, and so I am going to give it to him by like 2 points, possibly a point and a half. Hasn't voted Republican literally since I think 1972. Even Ronald Reagan couldn't win it in his 49 state landslide. This was the only state he lost, and that was because Mondale was in fact the home state advantager in that area. He did actually, in fact, hold that state as his home state, and that was probably the reason why he was able to do so. And if we keep looking at the other swing states, you see Biden's path keeps narrowing and narrowing and narrowing as time goes on. This is the absolute problem with Biden, is that Biden has fallen in his approval rating so much that he may not even be able to win the election anymore because of it. And so in Wisconsin, he's up in Wisconsin. Trump is up there, in my opinion, by about a couple of points. Trump is up in the aggregate by 1 point. Usually the polls overestimate him by a lot, but I don't think the polls are going to overestimate him in Wisconsin as much as before. I think he wins it by almost five. He probably wins it by 3.5 to 4 points, more than likely. He's going to do a lot better. In the WOW counties on the east side of the state, he'll probably do a lot better here. Ozaki, he'll probably turn a corner there. All these counties will probably shift a little bit. I think he'll probably flip Sauk County. Greene County will be a flip. He'll possibly even get Rock County, or he'll probably get Eau Claire County, and as well as La Crosse County. And Portage will definitely flip as well. 100%. That will probably be a flip if he wins it by 4 points. And Door County will more than likely flip in that scenario as well. And so I think in Wisconsin, Donald Trump is poised to win it by 3.5 to 4 points. I think in the state of Pennsylvania, Donald Trump is poised to win it by about 2.5 to 3 points. I think that Donald Trump will probably win Bucks County. He'll win Northampton. He's going to win Erie back for sure. This was a really close county, and I think he'll for sure win Erie back. He possibly could get Allegheny County a lot closer. He'll definitely win Central County back as well, and he'll do a lot better in Lackawanna County, possibly even winning it more than likely, or at least getting it really close. And so, because of that, I think Donald Trump is poised to win the state by 2.5 to 3 points as of right now. And so, for the lean states, we're gonna keep going. Nevada, basically a 3 point, 2 point win for Donald Trump. If you look at the state right now, Democrats have always pulled out the victory, but the state is trending to the right. Even in a midterm year where Republicans were not performing that well, he was actually able to win it, or Biden was the governor was able to get ousted by a Republican challenger, and now Governor Lombardo is the incumbent there, despite it being a poor year for Republican performances. And so I think he'll probably flip Washoe County. In my opinion, I think he flips it. I think he'll get almost 130,000 votes here. And as for Las Vegas, he probably cracks maybe 550, maybe 530 possibly in that area. Biden would probably still win this area, but he could definitely get really, really close. And so I think Trump is going to basically win the state by 2 to 3 points as of right now. Now, we are closing in on the final five states, and as you can see, New York has been left up blank, and I'm going to explain why in a second. If we go to the state of New Hampshire, I think Biden probably wins it by a tilt margin. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people expect. I think Donald Trump will flip back Carroll County. He's going to flip back, for example, probably flip back Hillsborough. He'll probably flip back Sullivan County. This county will get a lot closer, and the county with Concord in it will get a lot closer, as well as this county as well. He'll max out his performance in the two counties he won last time and get this county much, much closer with white working class voters. However, I think that Biden still holds it just because of the fact that it is a very college educated state. And even though it's a very anti incumbent state, I still expect Biden to probably hold it by the skin of his teeth as of right now. And so in the state of Michigan, I think Donald Trump wins the state by possibly 2 to 3 points as well. I think he wins it by 2 to 3 points. I think that, Donald Trump is going to gain ground in the African American communities in this area. He'll flip back Muskegon, he'll flip back Saginaw County for sure. Even a place where Flint is in might even potentially flip. And Macomb County will possibly end up entering safe territory, possibly being like a 20-point win for Trump, depending on how well he does that night. And so I think in the state he'll do exceptionally well. Marquette County could get a lot closer, in my opinion. He might even flip it. So just to look out on election night, I think Donald Trump is poised to win the state by 2 or 3 points. As of right now, potentially even voting to the right of Pennsylvania. As of right now, I think in the state of Arizona, Donald Trump probably wins the state by 1.5 points. I know, guys. Oh my God, Trump's up by 5 in the popular vote, but you only have him winning it by a 1.5 points. Unfortunately, guys, Arizona is a very, very, very left trending state, and I expect that from 2022, the state's going to trend even more to the left to the point where even if Biden were to tie with Trump in the popular vote, I still think that Biden would win Arizona comfortably by like a couple of points. Like, even if the popular vote was tied, I think that Biden would actually win Arizona by like 2 points, 3 points. Like, it's really bad. And so Donald Trump does barely win it by like a 1.5 points. And guys, you got to understand, most of Donald Trump's gains in the popular vote are going to come from narrowing the gaps here in some of the Democratic states and expanding his leads in Texas and Florida, not so much in the Rust Belt states or the swing states in general, besides Georgia per se. Then the final two states. I think New Mexico is going to be till Democrat. I think the state, Hispanic trends are going to be very massive for Trump. He could possibly either win the Hispanic vote or almost win in. So because of that, I think this is going to accelerate the state, into Trump's column or possibly into Trump's column. I think he could crack about 440,000 votes here, and Biden's going to massively fall. And with a high third party vote share, I think that Biden could get the state by only a couple of thousand votes, possibly even by a couple of hundred votes as of right now. And it's going to trend way right of Colorado, in my personal opinion. There are way more Hispanics in the state, and it's the only majority Hispanic state in the nation. So I think that's why that'd be the case. The final state, New York. Now, I think Donald Trump is poised to win. I'm kidding, guys. He's not going to win it. But I actually do think the state is going to be under 5, and I'm going to explain why. In the 2020 presidential election, Donald Trump had massive gains in the New York City area, despite losing the state by a few points. And actually, I think he lost it by more than what he lost it by in 2016, but he still made massive gains in the state, and especially in the New York City area. He did 12 points better in the Bronx. He did 8 points better in Queens. He did 7 points better in Brooklyn. He did 5 points better in the Hudson area. He did 5 points better over here, 5 points better in Rockland. And I think a lot of these counties that shifted left the last cycle, I think are going to shift Republican in the next cycle. And I think these gains that he's getting here are going to continue by even bigger margins. And I think he's going to have a big movement in the New York City area that more than what people are expecting. And I think that's going to drive him to possibly lose it by, 2 to 4 points. I actually think New York could be as close as 2 or 1 point. And the reason why is because in 2016, Hillary was up in the mid 30s. Trump lost it by maybe 23, 24, 25, 26, something like that. Then Donald Trump was down in the state by the low 30s, high 20s. In 2020, he was down in the state by that much, and he lost it by 23. So the polls have been off by 6 to 10 points. Biden, as of right now in New York, is currently only leading polls by 8 to 12 points. And depending on what poll you're looking at, the poll could be 6 to 10 points off. So depending on what poll it is, he could either be straight up losing New York somehow, or down in New York, or Trump is down in New York by a few points. I think Biden's probably winning it by 3 or 4 as of right now, but this could 100% change. And so as of right now, this is my final electoral college map. Donald Trump is winning 312 electoral college votes to Joe Biden's 226. I also have Joe Biden barely winning the Nebraska 2nd district as of right now.